Picture this. I'm at the beach, toes in the sand, book in hand, melanin poppin', living my best life. And then, a man who has never voted in his entire life decides this is the moment to debate chattel slavery. With me, a black woman who literally just wanted to read her book. Welcome to AYFKM. I'm Victoria Sharp, and today we're talking about what happens when audacity meets ignorance at high tide. Picture this. I'm at the beach, toes in the sand, book in hand, melanin poppin', living my best life. And then, a man who has never voted in his entire life decides this is the moment to debate chattel slavery. With me, a black woman who literally just wanted to read her book. Welcome to AYFKM. I'm Victoria Sharp, and today we're talking about what happens when audacity meets ignorance at high tide. But here's the thing. Chat isn't special. This wasn't a one-time event. This is a daily occurrence for black women, for marginalized folks, for anyone whose lived experience becomes a debate topic for someone else's ego. I call it the Invalidation Olympics. And baby, people are going for the gold. Let's run through the greatest hits, shall we? I don't see color. Translation: I refuse to acknowledge your reality, and I expect praise for it. Congratulations, you've chosen blindness and called it enlightenment. You want a trophy for ignoring racism? That's not allyship. That's apathy with a smile. Slavery was a long time ago. Get over it. My grandmother was born in 1920. Her parents were born to people who were enslaved. A long time ago is relative when your family can trace the trauma. Plus, Jim Crow ended in 1965. Redlining, the war on drugs, mass incarceration. The oppression didn't stop, it just rebranded. Men explaining sexism to women. White people explaining racism to black people. It's giving, let me mansplain your own oppression to you. Imagine walking up to a veteran and saying, well, actually, I play Call of Duty, so I understand war. That's how ridiculous you sound. Why do you always make everything about race? Because everything was made about race before I got here, Karen. I didn't create systemic racism. I just have to live in it. You're mad that I'm naming it? Get mad at the system. And here's the pattern. The people doing the invalidating are almost always the ones who've never experienced the thing they're debating. They've never been profiled, never been followed in a store, never had their name mispronounced with pride, never been told they only got into college because of affirmative action. But somehow, they're experts. So let's talk about why these moments aren't just annoying, they're damaging. Because when someone invalidates your experience, it's not just an intellectual disagreement. It's deeper than that. Historical erasure. When someone minimizes slavery or compares it to something it's not, they're erasing the specific horror of what happened. They're flattening centuries of terror into a footnote, and that erasure makes it easier to ignore the present-day consequences. Emotional labor. Do you know how exhausting it is to constantly educate people who should have learned this in school? To have to defend your humanity in casual conversation? To be expected to remain calm and kind while someone casually rewrites your ancestors' suffering? It's unpaid labor, and it's draining. The entitlement. The assumption that your trauma is trivia night material, that your pain is up for debate, that you owe strangers a history lesson while you're trying to enjoy a day at the beach. That's entitlement, and it's everywhere. The silencing effect. Every time someone says you're being too sensitive or it wasn't that bad, they're training you to be quiet, to shrink, to stop naming injustice because it's easier for them if you do. Invalidation is violence in a cardigan. It doesn't hit you, it drains you, slowly, consistently, until you're too tired to fight back. And that's exactly what it's designed to do. So, to the man at the beach, and to everyone like him, if you're going to wade into conversations about history, politics, genocide, civil rights, or basic human decency, at minimum, have the range. And by range, I mean read a book, one that wasn't written by someone who thinks the Confederacy had heritage. If you've never voted, you don't get to lecture people about politics. You've opted out. You're a spectator, and spectators don't get to criticize the players. If you're going to compare oppressions, make sure you actually understand both. Because right now, You're out here sounding like someone who thinks a paper cut and a stab wound are the same because they both involve blood. And finally, Black women do not owe you education, patience, or kindness when you show up unprepared and overconfident. We are not your Google. We are not your therapists. We are not your cultural translators. Do your own homework. Because here's the truth. Ignorance is a choice, and audacity is a privilege, and I'm done rewarding both. Y'all, stop letting people rewrite your history. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. Protect your facts. If you're someone who's been in these conversations, who's had to defend your lived experience to someone who treats it like a debate prompt, I see you. You're not crazy. You're not sensitive. You're exhausted. And that's valid. And if you're a non-voter who thinks opting out makes you deep, you're not neutral. You're just uninvolved. And power loves uninvolved people. So get involved. Vote. Organize. Show up. Do literally anything besides philosophizing from the sidelines. Stay informed, stay loud, stay unapologetic. And remember, you don't owe anyone access to your trauma for their education. I'm Victoria Sharp, this is AYFKM, and yes, I am.